People always say they hate change, but in 2026, if you're not changing with the times, you are falling so far behind, it's going to be almost impossible to catch up. When I was a senior captain, I was brought onto a division level staff and told to make the TOC run better. I had just come out of a position where I was helping an engineer battalion in their TOC operations, Tactical Operations Center, managing all these different units, tracking where everybody is and what they're doing. And we had developed through after action reviews a really good SOP for doing that. What had happened in the past is we would put on a new shift from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and a new shift from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. The problem is the prime time for movement with all of our units was between about 5 and 7 a.m. and about 5 and 7 p.m. So right in the middle of everybody's movement, we're shifting everybody around. And we would have units that would leave the base on one shift and arrive at their work area on the next shift, and it just became really difficult to keep everything straight. So we implemented a schedule where every 6 hours we had a shift change brief, and then we left it up to the sections when they wanted their people on. For instance, with the battle NCO, the battle non-commissioned officer who is in charge of tracking all of the vehicles, where they're going, how many people, all of that. We put them on at midnight till noon and noon till midnight, so that right in the middle of their shift was the heavy movement time. So they had been on shift for a little while, they knew what was going on, and people would leave the base and return and get to their work site at the same shift. Same thing would happen in the afternoon. So then the second part of that was we'd put the battle captain on from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and we'd hold a shift change brief at all 4 of those times throughout the day. And each section was able to choose when and where they wanted their people. They weren't confined to that 6 a.m., 6 p.m. time slot anymore. For instance, our supply section would put on an E7, a senior non-commissioned officer, at 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. And then they'd also have another one on that came on at noon until midnight, because the heavy supply, the heavy lifting for them administratively happened between noon and 6 o'clock. So they're able to shift their people to have them there at the right time. And it worked great. We also had our signal section. They started putting people on at 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and midnight till noon, because that downtime between midnight and 6 a.m., they were able to do extra work, get the radios fixed. They started building wiring harnesses in our tents. It was really, really great. It gave our subordinate leaders flexibility to lead their sections, which was a byproduct of us just trying to better control the movement of our people. So I brought that system to the division level headquarters, and you would think, boy, that was really great. That should work really well. I got so much pushback from the senior staff officers, it was almost impossible to implement. Again, I was lower ranking for a division staff. All of the staff primaries were 05s and 06s, and here's this 03 trying to tell them how to do something different. I was really blessed to have a chief of staff, someone who runs the entire staff, that said, no, we're going to do it this way. And once I was able to get people on board, they really liked it. So it might not be that your people don't like change, they just don't like doing different things, because my favorite phrase, that's the way we've always done it. If you need help breaking that cycle in your organization, send me a message at johnvanduzen.com. Teach it, coach it, lead.